はい、こんにちは。ということで、ポータル1に続いて、2もやっていきましょう。2はやったことあったんだったかなかったんだったか。これってなんだろうな。エクストラ。
Cave Johnson here. Every time I look at our test chamber production line, I am reminded of my father. Now, he wasn't a scientist, just a simple farmer, a professor of farming at the local farm college, never farmed a day in his life. But his theories on farming are the backbone of this company. Do it from scratch. Spare no expense. And never cut corners. Well, that's a corner-cutting machine. We obviously cut them there. Point is, we've always done things the way my father did. And his father before him, and his father before him, and his father before him. And we are almost bankrupt. So, time for a cheaper approach. Allow me to introduce the multiverse. Infinite Earths with an infinite number of apertures. And as of now, they are going to take over all test chamber construction. And more importantly, all paying for test chamber construction. Why are they agreeing to do that? They're not. We're tricking them. Here's how it works. 1, design a test. 2, slip the mole monsters or what have you the blueprint when they're not looking. 3, once they build it, steal it back. Look at that sad little octopus. That's where you come in. We need blueprints. We are about to run the greatest con game in the history of the multiverse, and you are the bottleneck. Yes, you. Get back to work.
これはひょっとしてなんかあれかな。ちょっと待ってよ。ゲーム音が大きいような気がするんだけど、ちょっとマスターボリュームを下げましょうか。ゲーム内で見れる動画なのかな。
These next tests require cooperation. Consequently, they have never been solved by a human. That's where you come in. You don't know pride. You don't know fear. You don't know anything. You'll be perfect. Test chamber completed. Continue testing. Continue testing. Continue testing. The two of you have forged an excellent partnership. Now it's time for your real purpose. Don't disappoint me, or I'll make you wish you could die.
これはひょっとしたらプロモーションビデオかもしれませんね。中で見れるのかどうかわかんない。ポータル2コミック。これどういう風に表示されるんだろう。あー、そっか。インゲームでは出てこないですね。画像ファイルが今ゲーム外で出てますが、あ、ちゃんと日本語になってる。 はい。PC 版ではこういうのもありますが、これはだから音声解説とかああいうのではないようですね。はい。協力プレイもまあできるんですけども、コミュニティテストチェンバーは多分他のプレイヤーが作った、マップでしょうね。ちょっとオーディオもうちょい下げた。で、音声言語日本語ってなってるんですけど、多分英語だと思います。クローズドキャプションもオンにして、オーディオで解説とかないのね。これは何だろう。ストア。ロボットをなんかパーツ買ってなんかできんのかな。はい。ではシングルプレイヤー始めていきましょうか。やったことないような気がするんですが。あった、解説。引き出しね。これ同じですね。はい。これは多分こっからやって協力モード。協力モードではやれないシングルでプレイできるのかもしれないけど、まあこれからやっていきましょうか。これは1の最後で抜け出したところのようにも見えますが。
Good morning. You have been in suspension for 50 days. In compliance with state and federal regulations, all testing candidates in the Aperture Science Extended Relaxation Center must be revived periodically for a mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise.
ちょっと待ってくださいよ。これでどうかな。
You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look up at the ceiling. Good. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at the floor. Good. This completes the gymnastic portion of your mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise. There is a framed painting on the wall. Please go stand in front of it.
絵に絵画があります。あれか。
This is art. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art. You should now feel mentally reinvigorated. If you suspect staring at art has not provided the required intellectual sustenance, reflect briefly on this classical music.
設定で BGM マスターボリュームしかないんだよな。はい。
Good. Now please return to your bed.
これ先に聞きましょうかね。
The idea of being stuck forever in a state of stasis that looked like a crappy old motel room had been in our minds for a long time, but we weren't sure exactly how we wanted to rip you out of it. There was some debate over whether the opening sequence happened inside the player's head or not. There was an alternate opening where Aperture had hooked up all of its cryo-stored test subjects to an incredibly boring hotel room simulator, which Wheatley would then wake the player from. Eventually, this was discarded as too difficult to explain in the short time allotted, and we opted to change the hotel room to a container ride on a rail. This allowed us to show the player, rather than tell them about how they and other test subjects have been stored, show some of the scale of the facility, and even hint at how much time has passed. We also get to gradually reveal all of this through the destruction of the container itself as it moves and bangs into things. Overall, this gives the player a much more dynamic and visceral introduction to Portal 2.
Hi, my name is Gabe Newell, and welcome to Portal 2. When we released the original Portal in 2007, it was an experiment to see how gamers would respond to a different kind of gameplay and storytelling experience. Portal went on to win a bunch of awards, sell many copies, and, most importantly, resonate with gamers in a way that no other Valve title has. The challenges for us in building Portal 2 were to live up to people's expectations, to take you back to the world of Chell and Aperture Science, and to surprise gamers again, not with more of the same, but with more of the new. And I think it will be, mostly, a pleasant surprise. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop a commentary node, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press the use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game in order to show something to you. In these cases, simply press your use key again to stop the commentary. Please let me know what you think after you've had a chance to play Portal 2. I can be reached at gaben@valvesoftware.com. I get about 10,000 emails each time we release a game, and while I can't respond to all of them, I do read all of them. Thanks, and have fun.
本当か？絶対読んでねえだろ。
The writers went back and forth over whether or not Wheatley had tried escaping with other test subjects before waking the player up. It was an interesting idea, and you can still hear remnants of this story arc in some of the dialogue. But at the end of the day, it was just too expansive a concept to sell, so it's hinted at, but not overtly mentioned until the end.
さて、じゃあここで眠ればいいのかな。
Good morning. You have been in suspension for 9999999. This courtesy call.
Hello? Anyone in there?
Subject should vacate the enrichment
Hello?
center immediately. Any test subject
Are you gonna open the door
at this time
at any
will be
time?
assumed to have exercised his or her right
Hello?
to remain in extended relaxation. For the
Are you going to open this door? Because it's fairly urgent.
Concerns regarding this policy, or
Oh, oh God! You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you? Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine. There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Prepare. That's all it's saying. Prepare. It's all fine. All right. Don't move. I'm going to get us out of here. Oh, you might want to hang on to something. Word of advice. Up to you.
なんだ。
You all right down there? Can you hear me?
え？
Hello? Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped, but never mind. Say apple. Apple. Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
All reactor core safeguards are now non-functional. Please prepare for reactor core meltdown.
Okay, look, I wasn't going to mention this to you, but I'm in pretty hot water here. How you doing down there? You still holding on? The reserve power ran out, so of course the whole relaxation centre stops waking up the bloody test subjects. Hold on, this is a bit tricky. And of course, nobody tells me anything. No, why should you tell me anything? Why should I be kept informed? You know, about the life functions of the 10,000 bloody test subjects I'm supposed to be in charge of. Why? It's close. Can you see? Am I gonna make it through? Have I got enough space? Just gotta get through here. Okay, I just gotta concentrate. And whose fault do you think it's gonna be when the management comes down here and finds 10,000 flipping vegetables? Alright, see, no, I hear that one. I hear that one. Okay, listen, we should get our story straight, alright? If anyone asks, and no one's gonna ask, don't worry, but if anyone asks, tell them as far as you know, the last time you checked, everyone looked pretty much alive. Alright? Not dead. Okay, almost there. On the other side of that wall is one of the old testing tracks. There's a piece of equipment in there that we're gonna need to get out of here. I think this is a docking station. Get ready. Good news, that is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override on this wall. Could get a bit technical. Hold on. Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun that makes holes. Not bullet holes, but don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time. There we go. Now, I'll be honest, you are probably in no fit state to run this particular type of cognitive gauntlet. But at least you're a good jumper. So you got that, got the jumping on your side. Just do your best, and I'll meet you up ahead.
これ、やった行動でちょっとセリフ変わってんのかな？
Alright, off you go.
ちょっとね、まだ大きいですね、音がね。これぐらいにしとこうかな。
That's the spirit.
The container ride destruction sequence provided some unique technical challenges. The dynamics you experience are actually computed as two separate but nested simulations. The first is a core-scale simulation designed as a stress element analysis pass. This pass computes the overall gross motion of the container itself and computes the collisions and breakpoints based on path keyframe data and a network of constraints. As the container bumps and crashes along, the constraints start breaking and the room progressively starts to come apart. There are over 300 rigid bodies and 900 constraints in this rig, all individually configured for properties like tensile, friction, and collision response. The core simulation portrayed gross motion that captured the main dynamics of the ride, but not the fine details. The product of the core simulation was then used to deform spline-based surfaces representing the container geometry, which in turn were parents to fine debris anchored as rigid bodies. As the surface deformations increase, anchors are broken and the fine debris rigid bodies are released into the simulation. The fine simulation also includes the interior furniture and the model detailing. The two simulations were then connected using cache data and were driven together by a series of scripts. Due to the computational complexities of having two nested simulations, we had to come up with some solutions to some interesting mathematical problems. One problem was that the nested nature of the simulations resulted in some instability in the fine debris calculations due to floating point computational limits. The solution employed for this was to compute the fine debris on a stage where the root transform of the core simulation was essentially cancelled out and stored for later use. This allowed us to more accurately detect the fine interactions between the debris and the environment. Post-simulation, the root transform position and inertia were reapplied to the details. We solved the problem of trying to compute the player within this highly dynamic environment by putting them in a virtual room that has all the base shapes of the rendered container, but is simply used to compute player navigation. It's hidden somewhere else in the map. The viewpoint of the player is then parented to the course simulation transform, resulting in the final rendered frame. At the end of the ride, the player is teleported into the actual game space. The simulations were iterative, enabling us to sculpt the dynamics in parallel with gameplay design. In the final product there are over 1,200 rigid bodies, 900 constraints and 1,000 joints. With all the iterations combined, the actual runtime spent computing the simulation was 92.4875 days.
これわざとややこしいこと言ってんだろすごい。でもなんか今だったらムービー処理されそうなところをちゃんとインゲームでやってたんですね。これ2000何年だったっけ？11年ぐらいだった。ちょうど11年前。
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue. These pre-recorded messages will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse. The portal will open, and emergency testing will begin in 3, 2, 1.
わあれ？上着は着てないけど同じ人じゃないのか？脱出したと思ったのにラジオは鳴ってない。これは同じ施設だぞ。同じ主人公なのかどうなのか。音楽がオーケストラになってますね。あ、
Cube and button-based testing remains an important tool for science, even in a dire emergency. If cube and button-based testing caused this emergency, don't worry. The odds of this happening twice are very slim.
でもあれだ、なんだっけ、グラッツだったかなんだか、あれは壊しちゃったから違う声がナレーションになってる。で、青いボールのやつもいなかったし、このドアの表示も若干違うな。
Please note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it.
歯が生えちゃってる。あれ、エレベーターもちょっと違うぞ。ここ大丈夫なのか？ボロボロになってんな。ここでロードが入るのか。
If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the material emancipation grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
そんなチューブ刺さってたっけ？うわ、ボロボロだな。っていうか、結構グラフィックがいいですね。10年前のゲームとは思えない。ちょっと待ってくださいね。 戻ってきました。いや、今日はさすがに暑いですね。2022年7月3日ですが。さすがに今日はこの辺も暑いですね。まあ、猛烈な暑さが続いているので、どっか涼しいところでね、動画でも見れたらいいんじゃないでしょうか。ボロボロになってんな。すごいレスポンスが良くなってんな。反応がスムーズになった感じがする。どっかにポータルを開いた？
This room is meant to teach players the fundamentals of portals, connecting them to two places in the world. As the blue portal moves around the world, the orange stays rooted. In the original portal, this room had these portals moving by themselves on a timer. This led to most people simply staring through their orange portal, waiting for the blue one to end up in the right place. We felt that altering this to make the players decide where the portals came out was more instructive, and meant that players who already knew how to use portals could solve this puzzle both quickly and with authority.
なるほどね。段階としては同じステージだけど、今どこにできてんだ？あそこにポータルができてんのか。で、あっちに行けばいいのかな。そっかそっか。これを取って、すごい。これでも向こうに見える距離が遠くなったで2つ3つまでしか見えてないのかな。これを拾ってであっちに開ければいいのか。間違った。で、ここにもう一回開けて出ると。
Because of the technical difficulties we are currently experiencing, your test environment is unsupervised. Before re-entering a relaxation vault at the conclusion of testing, please take a moment to write down the results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has been rebuilt.
ボロボロじゃねえかよ。これ上に上がんないんじゃないの？下に降りてくのか。そうだな。あれから何年経ったんだ？
If the Earth is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of listening to reason.
アニマルキングテイクオーバーって書いてある。獣の王が取り返す。王位を取り返すのか。
Hey! You made it!
お、
There should be a portal device on that podium over there. I can't see it though. Maybe it fell off. Do you want to go and have a quick look? It's alright, no, go on. Hello? Can you see the portal gun? Also, are you alive? That's important. Should have asked that first. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on the assumption that you're still alive, and I'm just going to wait for you up ahead. I'll wait 1 hour, then I'll come back, and assuming I can locate your dead body, I'll bury you. All right? Brilliant. Go team! See you in an hour, hopefully. If you're not dead.
ポータルガンがあるのか。あ、ポータルが開いてる。わあ、なんかすごい絵が描いてあるぞ。この絵は誰が描いたんだ。ああ、これは1で起こったことを書いてるのかな。でも監視してる人はいなかったからな。これはそのあれかな、あの AI が暴走した時の様子を書いてんのかな。
We thought of making a whole new character for Portal 2, but we didn't want to lose the relationship between Gladys and Chill that began in Portal 1. Once we decided to stay with Chill, we wanted to improve her look, updating her leg springs and jumpsuit to have a more functional design. At the same time, we didn't want players to not recognize her, so we kept a lot of the iconic elements like the color orange. She has folded down her jumpsuit to show she has essentially rolled up her sleeves and shed some of the aperture label.She is awake again to test, but stronger and more determined than ever.
じゃあやっぱり同じ人なんだ。チェルって言った？
We thought of making a whole new character for Portal 2, but we didn't want to lose the relationship between Gladys and Chill that began in Portal 1.
グラドスとチェル。ジャンプがちょっと距離が高くなったような感じがする。お。だいぶグラフィックも綺麗になってんだ。まあそりゃねえ、何年 ?2007 年から4年5年4年か経って、まあ進化してるっていうのもあるんでしょうけど、それ以降グラフィックのアップデートとかも入ってんのかな。当時より綺麗なのかどうかはちょっと印象はわからないですが、ポータルの場所が見えるようになったんだな。ここはいいのか？
Some emergency testing may require prolonged interaction with lethal military androids. Rest assured that all lethal military androids have been taught to read and provided with one copy of the laws of robotics to share.
ロボット三原則が軍事ドロイドに手渡されて読むように示されてます。そいつどうせ読んでねえんだろう。これオレンジのポータルはない。あ、そっかそっか。こっから入ってこっからで、あ、監視カメラがある。これ外して。
Good. If you feel that a lethal military android has not respected your rights as detailed in the laws of robotics, please note it on your self-reporting form. A future Aperture Science Entitlement Associate will initiate the appropriate grievance filing paperwork.
未来のって何なんだよ。あれあれ。おお、すげえな。アニマルキングテイクオーバー。 ニマルキングって何なんだ？獣の王。
This next test is very dangerous. To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
Remember your evacuation training.
This map was one of the first of the older Portal maps that we beat up and decayed to bind the two games together. The smooth jazz joke is probably the oldest one in the game. The team discovered through playtesting that smooth jazz was funny to all ages, genders, and cultures.
へえ。これも同じだな。
Starting out in the ruins of the test chambers from the first portal was our goal pretty much from day one. We wanted to give players a sense of nostalgia for what they had played, but also make it very clear that things had changed. Not only in a fictional sense, but in a graphical one as well. We needed to bridge the gap between the first game's simpler art assets and the much more complex look of Portal 2. 結構近くで見れた。パッチュアサイエンスのロゴが見えるようなこと言ってる。若干見えますね。T シャツは見えないか。首にチューブがついてるとか言ってるけど。チューブは見えないの。これ降りなきゃよかった。
Great work. Because this message is pre-recorded, any observations related to your performance are speculation on our part. Please disregard any undeserved compliments.
Oh. なるほどね。いや、1と2と続けてやるとよくわかりますね。こっちでいいのかな？なんかいろいろ書いてあるけど、でもPC が古い。フロッピーじゃないか、これ。まあ CD とか M4 の可能性もなくはないか。こっち行くのか。
If the Enrichment Center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test.
ここは開くのか。そこにブロックがあって、ここを押すとブロックが落ちる。いや、違う。あ、これか。これ落ちたらまずいんだろうな、きっとな。ってことは例のこれか。え？まずそこに行きたいんだけど。これは、ここから、ここから行ってもしょうがないよな。そこに出ることはできても、そっちには落ちないよね。難しいぞ。これこうやってそっちには、おお。やっぱ水は落ちたら死ぬんだな。
If the Enrichment Center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test.
ちょっと待ってよ。これはこれで押して、これを押すと、そこが、扉が開いて、ドアを開ければいいから、一旦そこに行って、そこからここ開けて、ダメかな。そこには打ち出せたんだけど。この床ダメなんでしょう？ちょっと難しいぞ。この床はいけんのか？いけた。そういうことか。んでこれは開くけど、ここはなんか意味あんの？これを押すとヒューッと飛んで これはなんだ。そういうことか。これはこっちを押してからこれか。逆か。これでいいのかな。
Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. All Aperture Science personality constructs will remain functional in apocalyptic, low-power environments of as few as 1.1 volts.
フリーズ、リメイン、パルム。カルムってなんだろう。
This next test applies the principles of momentum to movement through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
?そこにポータルがあって、そこに押すところがあると。これはまたこれか。先にでもブロックを持ったまま、これ、でもそこに一旦届いて穴からあれか。んで、これを、ここにこうして、落っこちちゃったよ。これは持って入るしかないか。んで、ちょっと一旦置いて、一回開けて、持ったままいけんのかな。よ、置いた。
If you are a non-employee who has discovered this facility amid the ruins of civilization, welcome. And remember, testing is the future, and the future starts with you.
Much of the fun in Portal is based on the joy of the aha moment when you learn something new.
Aha.
The game needs a very specific pacing to ensure these moments. If things are too easy, then you're robbed of that moment since it feels like you didn't accomplish anything. If it's too hard, then players feel stupid instead of smart when they finally realize that one small part of the puzzle that they were missing. Unfortunately, trying to create that delicate balance leads to a lot of shuffling of levels and a lot of revisions and tweaks to existing levels. When we started the project, making any big structural change in a level, or the order of levels, would lead to hours or even days of busy work, trying to reconnect things and make sure they lined up again. If we ever wanted to ship something the size of Portal, with the finely tuned balance we desired, then we needed a way to be able to make the big changes to the layout of the game, without paying the cost of making everything line up again. We needed a way to bend space. We needed to think with portals. Using portals to connect different areas in the world, we could make any type of impossible space work out. You could look through a hallway into the next room, but the hallway might be on the other side of the map, and the room you were looking into might be in a completely different orientation. We could seamlessly insert an elevator, a huge expansive vista, a room that was bigger on the inside than the outside, or even create an infinite fall by connecting a shaft back into itself. Soon every connection between any space was a portal. We could even switch them on the fly. Even a simple door worked like the cartoons. Just a facade painted on a wall that seamlessly opened somewhere else entirely. Once the game settled down, we were able to finalize our path and remove all the world portals. There's only one impossible space left in the whole game. See if you can figure out where it is.
そこにブロックがあって出口はどこにあるんだ。入れるところもないし、あ、そこにあるのか。ってことはどっかこっち飛びすぎるんじゃないかな。あんな上に行く必要あんのか。どっかそこにボタンがあるんだろうけど。よっ、あ、ちょっとミスったな。ほい。飛びすぎでもなかったな。こう押すと、なんかパネルが上がるな。あれを取りに行かなきゃいけないから。ああ、そっかそっか。そこにとりあえず作ってよっ、ほい。これでこれを持ってもう一回その前にそこに開けるか。でこっち側に飛んでこれを置けばいいんだろう。よっ、おい。加速がより強くつくようになったような気がする。あ、これでもう一回だ。よいしょ。
Good work getting this far, future starter. That said, if you are simple-minded, old, or irradiated in such a way that the future should not start with you, please return to your primitive tribe and send back someone better qualified for testing.
シンプルって単純でっていう意味もありますけど、まあバカっていうことなんですよね。あんまりね、シンプルな人だっていう風に、英語を使う人に言わない方がいいですよね。
To ensure that sufficient power remains for core testing protocols, all safety devices have been disabled. The Enrichment Center respects your right to have questions or concerns about this policy.
Hey! Oi, oi! I'm up here!
あ？どこだ？あ、いた。
Oh, brilliant! You did find a portal gun! Oh, do you know what? It just goes to show, people with brain damage are the real heroes in the end, aren't they, at the end of the day? Brave. Pop a portal on that wall behind me there, and I'll meet you on the other side of the room. Just pop a portal right behind me there, and come on through to the other side.
This interaction with Wheatley was the first that we hooked up for our initial showing at E3. It demonstrated how Wheatley would be an actor in the world, and how the player would not only be interacting with him directly, but also using him to interact with the Aperture facility.
そんな E3 の発表あったんだっけ？
Okay, listen, let me lay something on you here. It's pretty heavy. They told me never, never, ever to disengage myself from my management rail, or I would die. But we're out of options here, so get ready to catch me, alright, on the off chance that I'm not dead the moment I pop off this thing. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3! That's high. It's too high, isn't it, really, that? All right, going on 3 just gives you too much time to think about it. Let's go on 1 this time. Okay, ready? 1. Catch me, catch... Ow! Ow. I am not dead. I'm not dead. I can't move then. That's the problem now. Are you still there? Could you pick me up, do you think? If you are there?
これ落ちるようになってんの。
The Wheatley model was designed as a mechanical version of the original Portal 1 personality sphere. Originally, they filled a very similar role to that in Portal 1, so we needed one base model which could hold a lot of different expressions. Experimenting with different rigging ideas, we came up with the onion skin design, where a number of spherical plates could slide around inside each other, all supported on a small motion platform mounted on a gyroscope. This meant that no matter what expression Wheatley was pulling, he always retained his spherical shape. The modelers and the animators collaborated closely on these early tests to make sure the design supported the range of expression needed to satisfy any personality sphere that got designed. Lots of ideas were thrown out, such as a small internal robot arm that Wheatley could pull out of one of his ports and pull himself around with. We were careful to make the mechanics look plausible, but we had to cheat the eyelids, since they ended up being a physical impossibility. There was no way all that geometry could fit into the space around his eye without clipping out the other side, but they were such an essential feature of the model that we resorted to crushing them up inside the eye where the player can't see them.
なるほどね。
Oh, brilliant, thank you, great. Plug me into that stick on the wall over there, yeah? And I'll show you something. You'll be impressed by this.
壁のスイッチ。
Go on, just jam me in over there. Right on that stick, over there, just put me right on it.
あ、これか。
Yeah, I can't do it if you're watching. Seriously, I'm not joking. Could you just turn around for a second? Alright, you can turn around now. Bam! Secret panel. That I opened while your back was turned. Pick me up. Let's get out of here. And off we go. Look at this!
Yeah.
No rail to tell us where to go. Oh, this is brilliant. We can go wherever we want. Just hold on though, where are we going? Seriously. Hang on, let me just get my bearings. Just follow the rail actually.
How do you make a giant mechanical eyeball express life and emotions, let alone give the impression that he's talking when he has no mouth? The animator's understanding of human behavior came in handy for bringing Wheatley the personality sphere to life. Talking is so much more than just moving a character's mouth. You have to use body language, head attitudes, and rhythm of movement and eye focus to indicate a character's feelings and motivations. Slow, smooth head moves, a steady gaze, and a relaxed eye aperture indicate that Wheatley is calm. Short, sharp head turns, rapid blinks, and glancing around indicate nervousness or deceit. Add a tightly constricted eye aperture and a little shiver to show fear. Tilting the body away while keeping the eye focused on the player signals an attempt at cleverness that ultimately only fools Wheatley himself. Suspicion is communicated by squinting his eyelids and handles, which function as very expressive eyebrows and cheeks. It's also fun to remind the player that Wheatley is a machine. When hacking, his eye and body segments become perfectly centered and spin mechanically, inspired by the spinning tape reels on old UNIVAC computers. And when he wants to look far in front, he flips his eye all the way over to the other side of his head. This animation approach, combined with the writing and vocals, makes Wheatley quite a unique and entertaining character. Part human, part machine, all eye, and no brain.
ちゃんとこのコメンタリーのセリフに合わせて動きが変化してましたね。すごいな。その辺の演出は素晴らしいですね。
Oh no. Yes, hello, we're not stopping. Don't make eye contact, whatever you do. No, thanks, we're good. Appreciate it. Keep moving, keep moving.
Hello? Hello? I'm different.
I'm different. なんか見たことないキューブがあった。
Probably ought to bring you up to speed on something right now. In order to escape, we're going to have to go through her chamber, and she will probably kill us if she's awake. If you want to just call it quits, we could just sit here forever. That's an option. Option A, sit here, do nothing. Option B, go through there, and if she's alive, she'll almost certainly kill us. So, if you've got any reservations whatsoever about this plan, now would be a tremendous time to voice them. Right now. In case you thought to yourself, I've missed the window of time to voice my reservations. Still open.
はい。では今回はここまでにしておきます。なかなかいいですね。2は多分初めてやると思うんですけど、いいですね。1の雰囲気を残しながら、もう外側に出てる感じで。しかも面白い相棒もいていいんじゃないでしょうか。はい。では今回はここまでにしておきます。ご視聴いただきありがとうございました。それではまた。